What are 3 problems that affect your house when the weather changes drastically? Let's talk about it. Welcome to Foam University. Today we're going to discuss 3 different problems that your home may have if the weather is constantly changing a lot. So, before we get into the first thing, I want you to go below and hit that like button for us. Thanks. The first thing we're going to talk about, frost wedging. So a simple explanation of this is when water freezes, it expands in size. Okay, so if you have some small crevice or crack in the outside of your house, let's say your roof, for example, water, moisture can get into that crack, and as temperature drops, that water can freeze and that water will expand. What that can potentially do is make that crack or crevice a little bigger. Now, like we said, as the temperature is constantly going up and down, that water will then melt. New water can work its way into that space, freeze again, and then expand a little bit more. As this process continues, it potentially can lead to big problems on your house, can lead to a roof leak, can lead to shingle separation, can lead to a lot of different problems. It's just one thing to keep in mind. If you have the temperatures constantly going up and down, like for example, this winter, we happen to have a lot of cold and a lot of hot throughout the winter. So that is a potential thing that can happen to your home. Just keep that in mind. Next thing we're going to talk about, truss lift. So this is simply where the roof trusses of your house kind of bend in the expanding and contracting with temperatures fluctuating. It also has to do with temperatures and moisture content inside the house as well. Again, all that is going to be affected by the outside temperature anyways. So when this happens, again, when those trusses lift, when those trusses bend, you're going to get some separation a little bit at a time, and that can affect your drywall on the inside. Obviously, it can affect the whole structure of the roof. It can lead to potential separation of some of the sheathing. There's a lot of issues that can happen. Now again, some of these are kind of worst case scenarios, but when you have temperatures constantly going up and down, it kind of, expedites that whole process and can lead to issues a lot faster. Just some things to keep an eye on. Last thing we're going to talk about is ice dams. So let's say you have a snowfall, right? And you have a few inches of snow on your roof. And then the following day, the temperatures skyrocket and now all that snow is going to melt. Well, as that snow melts and runs down towards the end of your roof, temperatures are going to drop, especially if we get into the nighttime. Or again, if the following day after that, the temperatures drop again. So now you have a cold day with snow, a warm day where that snow is going to melt, and then you have another cold day. Now you have that runoff of the snow melting, and potentially it can freeze all down by your soffit and your eave. That is an ice dam. So now you potentially are creating that situation just based on the outside weather. Even if your attic is sealed up super tight, you have great insulation in there with constant up and down temperatures and some snowfall, you can just have ice dams from that. So these are 3 things you should definitely keep an eye on. If you notice that the temperatures in your area are going up and down a lot, especially if you have snowfall mixed in or rain mixed in with that, you should definitely keep an eye on those 3 things. Mostly this will affect the roof area, but it can also work its way into some of the siding, especially if you have like vinyl or aluminum, normal clad siding, that can be affected as well. Hope this information was helpful to you. If you have curiosities about different issues that your home may have, if you're experiencing these type of weather conditions, please drop us a comment below. And I definitely recommend you check out the link in our description. It goes into a lot more detail on these 3 issues. It also mentions a possible contributing factor to these issues, which could be your own building envelope and air seal. If you do not have adequate insulation or an adequate air seal, especially on your attic or your sidewalls, you could be letting heat escape your house. That is also expediting these issues. That will contribute to snow melt, to this frost wedging and ice damming issues, as well as potentially a truss lift issue. So keep that in mind. If you do not have a good air seal and a good building envelope with an adequate insulation like foam, you could also be a contributing factor to these problems. Just something to keep in mind. Hope you found this information helpful. If you have a question about this, please drop us a comment below. We'd love to help you out, but I definitely recommend you check out the link in the description like I mentioned. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell so you see all of our notifications. Want to learn more about foam insulation for your attic? Check out these other educational videos. That's a great video right there.